The PMP exam is changing in 2026. No rush if you're watching this right now when this comes out in 2025, but it's something you need to look for in the future. And I go over that more in my video on the key changes and strategies for the exam. You can check that out here. But PMI is changing more than just details around the exam content outline and the domains and how they're actually going to weight the different areas, but they're updating the question formats that you're going to see on the exam, meaning the exam isn't just going to be multiple choice anymore. Now, up front, if you're planning to sit for that PMP exam in 2026, again, this isn't something to fear. These changes don't come out until July, but if you're looking to take the exam around that time, you need to know what you're walking into on test day. PMI is rolling out a brand new mix of question formats, some of which study guides you're probably not going to even see mention, at least right off the bat. So in this video, we're going to break down every official question type you're going to face, whether they're brand new or if they're the ones that have been around for a second. So let's get into it. The 2026 PMP, like the PMP exams before it, is not about memorization. You're not memorizing the different processes. Instead, it's testing how you think, how you lead, how you solve problems in the real world. And this exam is really going to shift and focus on that. So that's why you're going to see some case-based questions, interactive visuals, and logic-based interactions, not just static multiple choice questions. So the first change, the first new question we have is the scenario or case-based questions. These show you a realistic project situation. Could be a team conflict, scope change, or performance issue. You'll get a paragraph, maybe a chart, and then a series of questions all based on that same scenario. It's like a mini case study with 3 to 4 questions, all tied back to that single piece of context through that paragraph or whatever you get. This format is new. It's available across all test formats, whether you're taking it online, computer-based, or paper, even though I'm not too sure who's taking paper exams right now. To prep for these, you need to focus on how you lead through complexity, not just what you know, but how to respond when variables shift and when things change in your project. And with this change in this question about case-based, this is also where it's an interesting part to talk about how the exam makeup is going to shift a little bit. The PMP is 180 questions, and you'll have 240 minutes to complete those questions. Whereas the exam before was 180 questions, 60 question buckets, each with a break in between. This exam content outline states that the first break occurs after the case study section, and the second break occurs approximately midway through the independent question portions of the exam. So this case study portion of the exam is going to have a level of precedence and a larger portion of the questions than I originally thought when I heard about this. So that is the case-based questions. Next, we have graphic-based questions. And here they're going to start testing your ability to interpret visuals. Think of things like Gantt charts, RACI matrices, risk charts, decision trees. PMI is going to give you a diagram, a visual, or a dashboard. And you're going to need to answer a question based on what it shows. These are brand new for the 2026 exam, and they're going to show up in all exam formats. So for this, you need to practice reading visuals and extracting the key insights without second-guessing yourself. These questions, from the example provided by PMI right here, look to be possibly simpler and more straightforward than the traditional situational-based questions. They have some wordy question behind it, but there's content to actually answering this question. And that, for me, makes me think it's not going to be as bad as you probably think it is just by looking at it. Now, that's it for the new type of questions. Really not all that bad. And I'm sure some people out there are going to make a huge deal about this, but PMI is still keeping the classic questions from PMPs before. So their changes aren't really that huge. So I don't know why people will be all freaking about these. I think the case-based sounds like actually a quicker way to move through some questions, but that's just me. Now let's cover the questions that are saying the same. First one, everyone likes these, enhanced matching. You're going to match some drag and drop mechanics, some images. You might be asked, to match a risk strategy with the risk quadrant, or drag a response into the process flow. The format for these is only going to be for computer-based tests. You can't do this on paper. And are, in my honest opinion, some gimmies when taking the exam. For these, you just got to think visually. Understand where things belong, not just what they are. Next, we have point and click, also known as hotspot questions. Here, you're going to see an image like a diagram, schedule, or contract layout, and you need to click the right area. So there's no multiple choice, no labels, just you and your judgment overall. This format also only shows up on the computer-based tests and can be trickier than enhanced matching. So for these, you got to know your graphs. And if so, they're going to work out just fine. For prepping for these, make sure you zoom in. Take your time. Know where key actions and data points would logically show up on whatever you're looking at. Now, let's take a look at the two more tech-enabled formats, matching and pull-down lists. Very similar in what you do, so I'm going to combine these two together. With matching, you're going to drag the answers from column A to column B that match B to C. You can easily see that looks like here, a little easier to look at. But with these, you're usually aligning tasks, tools, deliverables, whatever you have to do across the life cycle. And with pull-downs, you're just selecting the best response from the list. Some options are going to sound identical, so just be careful. Both of these only show up on the computer-based tests. Now, for the question you don't need an introduction for, multiple choice. One correct answer, or the multiple response, two or more correct answers. These are those classic PMI exam questions, situational and tough. And to prep for these, you need to practice the process of elimination. Read carefully for qualifiers like most likely, best response, first action, and always, no matter what, read through all the answers. So that's really it. Here's the bottom line. The PMP exam isn't just about what you know. It's how you apply it in situationally based environments. Know these formats. They're designed to mimic the real world, where problems are complex, the answers aren't always obvious, and you don't always have all the facts. And for answering them, you just gotta understand how to apply your instincts. Build in some pattern recognition and practice reading context under pressure. So if you want to make your PMP exam prep life easier, then make sure you check out one of my upcoming PMP exam prep courses. I'm going to leave a link to my schedule in the description, and I'll pin it down to the comments to include a link to my free training on what you need to know to pass the PMP. Grab it. It's free. Links down below. And don't forget, subscribe to this channel, like this video, hit that bell for future updates. And if you missed it, check out this video right here where I go over the PMP exam changes for 2026. All right, I'll see you in the next video. I'm Russ Parker, the Bearded PM, out.